in places where elephants frequently come into human habitations. The Forest Department has devised ways to guide the animals back into the forests. The methods use highly trained forest staff with customized equipment to divert the elephants back into the protected areas. It also involves daily monitoring and tracking of elephants to aid in rapid response if necessary. In situations where elephants have entered residential areas and people's lives are at stake, the Forest Department shifts to a crisis management mode. Rapid response, precise communication, and effective execution of protocols are critical to the safety of all. The department takes measures to de-escalate the situation to avoid untoward incidents. After the conflict is resolved, they engage with the affected people and arrange for compensation of damages. To prevent conflict from happening in the first place, early warning systems have been adopted in many locations. The Forest Department innovatively uses technology to warn people of elephant presence, thus preventing the chance of an accident. Any successful conflict mitigation program requires the participation and cooperation of all stakeholders. The Forest Department runs numerous programs to educate people about the right way to deal with elephants when they enter human habitations. This includes training of responders, stakeholders, and the general public, who can be valuable allies in the journey to reduce elephant-human conflict. Elephants are an integral part of the tropical forest ecosystem. They are flagships of biodiversity conservation. As humanity grapples with the vagaries of climate change and life-crippling zoonotic diseases, conservation of elephants and their biodiverse habitats assumes greater importance. India is committed to the cause of elephant conservation, but more importantly, towards paving the way to a future where people and elephants can coexist in harmony.
A variety of management strategies and practices have been developed and customized and are being implemented by the state forest departments for preventing and mitigating human-elephant conflict. We request our Honorable Minister of Environment and Forest and the Honorable Minister of State to kindly release the pictorial guide on the best management practices of human-elephant conflict management in India that summarizes the various management interventions successfully adopted by elephant-range states and serves as a reference manual for best possible site-specific mitigative measures that can be adopted to reduce human-elephant conflict. A similar effort is also made in developing the national portal on human-elephant conflict management named Suraksha to set the data collection protocol, data transmission, and enable policymakers to leverage the data for policy formulation and for preparation of action plan for mitigation of conflicts. We request our Honorable Minister of Environment and Forest and Climate Change and our Honorable Minister of State Environment, Forest and Climate Change to kindly launch the portal Suraksha for data testing and to be rolled out to the State Forest Department for testing further on the pan-India rollout. Thank you, sir. His love and compassion for elephants is almost palpable. His heart wrenches every time an elephant or human dies in an interface, and he leaves no stones unturned to get all the stakeholders on ground to cohesively act to save elephant as well as people. A firm believer that action speaks louder than words, with his reins in his hands, we remain assured that the elephants have a secure future in India. Ladies and gentlemen, I present before you our Honorable Minister of State, Environment, Forest and Climate Change, whose daughter also shares the birthday with elephants on the World Elephant Day. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Shri Prakash Javadekar ji, Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and the best boss that I can really have. May be honest with that. Shri Sanjay Kumar ji, Shri Dasgupta, Soumitra Dasgupta, Shri Amit Malik, Shri Noel Gomes, all of you. I welcome you on stage. The Joint Secretaries of the Ministry, friends from the media, and everyone who has a love for elephant and want to take this message forward that is happening today. I wish all of you a very warm welcome to this function today. It was important for me to take the mask off because what we are going to say today is very unmasked and from the heart. And what you are going to hear are some very honest efforts that are put in by the ministry to ensure that the growing number of elephants in the country, it's almost about 30,000 now. It used to be at one point of time around close to 15,000, where the Asian elephants were indeed announced as endangered species. Today it is no more an endangered species. We have to be very careful to ensure that we maintain that. But it's a very important day today because we need to be conscious about coexistence and how we can all coexist on this planet Earth. Thank you so much. I was not really conscious about the fact that World Elephant Day, we are celebrating it 2 days in advance, that it actually coincides with my younger daughter's birthday. She'll be very happy to know that once she grows up. And my mother before leaving said that in class 4, while in Don Bosco in Kolkata, in one of the fancy dress competitions, I had played the role of an elephant. I am a endomorph, as they say, endomorph, and always been a very plump child. So the closest that my teacher thought I would resemble would be an elephant. And therefore I played the role of an elephant and did it well by singing Chal 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 Mere Saathi, which was a hit song then. So it brings a lot of memories, and I really do love the elephant a lot. I remember taking my daughter on top of an elephant in Bangkok just a few about a year back, and I told her that they are very otherwise a very timid animal, unless they feel threatened in some manner, or they some of them they get distance from their own group, and then they start behaving a little too violently. You all know that elephants are large herbivorous animals. Thank you so much, Soumitra, for putting it in my speech. They are herbivorous animals. They are not carnivorous, and therefore they are not per se dangerous to us. They can be found in diverse habitats such as forests, grasslands, mountain, deserts, marshes. In fact, in every part of the world. So I'm not getting into details of that. We have 3 kinds of elephants in the world: the African forest elephants, the African bush elephants, and Asian elephants, of which we can boast that 60% of the global population of Asian elephants are found in India. To take a leaf out of what we saw in the last portion of the video that you saw, it's very true that, as our Honorable Minister Prakash always highlights, that it's true that there are a lot of human-animal conflicts that happen in the country. And, most of the times, the elephants, the death of elephants or cruelty against elephants, which is definitely an illegal act, it gets highlighted in every portion of the media. But the fact remains that, number of human beings, I would say that, what is the ratio, Shamatraji? I think for one elephant that we that gets gets hurt or fatally injured in a animal-human conflict, there are 500 human beings who lose their life. And therefore it is very, very important for us to understand that controlling, at one hand, it's a dilemma. In a way, it's huge success at one part to have elevated the number of elephants, and how to have doubled it from being an endangered species to a number where we can comfortably say that they are not endangered anymore. And to be very honest, to create the atmosphere, it is not going to multiply just like that. Even in the case of tigers, as you know, we have celebrated that we had our Honorable Prime Minister releasing the number last year. Even then, the goal to increase the number of tigers by 2022 was to cross 3,000, which was around 1,400, 1,500 some 10 years back in 2010, I believe, if I remember correctly. Now, in 3 years, 4 years prior to, 3 years prior to that particular goal set for 2022, we have already probably crossed 3,000, because last year when these numbers were announced, it was 2,967. So by this time, it must have increased, crossed the number of 3,000. So similarly, in the area of conserving and making sure that elephants are safe, the ministry and everyone associated with it, I would like to credit everyone for doing their best. But can that best be bettered? That's the question, and that is exactly where the challenge lies. Can we ensure that this coexistence can happen without lesser number of human-elephant conflicts? And that's exactly what we have seen, that how technology is being used, how people, the fringe areas where human beings are very close to, getting to have elephants, areas where elephants and human beings can overlap, over each other. Those areas are, not only people in those areas are educated, but also the voluntary people, they can be relocated with their consent. It's a very big endeavor that has been launched by the Government of India, where 10 lakh rupees are given to those people who stay in close proximity to the forest, and either they get that 10 lakh and move away from that area, or the government spends that 10 lakhs to create for them a house away from that area, from the fringe areas, and that's absolutely voluntary. So I would like to believe that while the incident in Kerala, it actually highlighted the callous and very what would I say, inhumanic and of course a criminal act by a section of individuals. I would like to assure to you that the central government, the ministry, along with in close coordination with the Kerala government, has taken a very strict zero tolerance approach towards this incident. And while the culprits are still on the run, we have not been able to arrest them. They are going to be arrested soon, and exemplary punishment will be given to ensure that people resort to frightening elephants away from coming close to human proximity, human proximity, or damaging crops or harming humans. But they cannot, because we are human beings. We cannot. Inhumanic is the last term that you want to get associated with. The last 3 years have been turning point in the realm of elephant conservation in the country. there have been some very significant measures that have been taken. If I can mention that to you, the identification of elephant corridors in the country, which is very, very important. It makes you careful, careful about those areas where the chances of human-elephant conflicts are more. Yesterday was my marriage anniversary, so it was very. If I have identified which are the areas where my wife gets angry, it makes my marriage a much more harmonious one. So identifying the elephant corridors is not a bad thing to do. So that's a great endeavor. It's not easy, but it's being done very, very diligently. Notification of new elephant reserves, conducting all India synchronized elephant population estimation on scientific lines, establishment of interstate committees for interstate migration of elephants, creation of captive elephant management committees, resumption of reporting like MIK, monitoring of illegal killing of elephants, inclusion of Indian elephants in Appendix 1 of CMS, finalization transboundary protocol between India and Bangladesh, establishment of elephant cell to provide technical support to PE division, etc. And many more. I assure you that many more such initiatives will be taken by the central and state government in the years to come to ensure that all stakeholders are very conscious and careful for the conservation and welfare of elephants. The launch of the portal Suraksha, as you have just seen, and our DG Forest Sanjay Kumarji, I just overheard what he said right now, that in 3 months we are going to be, that particular portal is going to be very much in place, where technical know-how and training can be voluntarily acquired by people. The ministry is definitely going to do its work to ensure that it reaches all sections of people who are associated with this particular human-elephant conflict areas and how to avoid that. But it will also be voluntarily available to even students to go ahead and see what they can do to create awareness. Social media is a very important, very strong platform today, and they can make good use of that, today's youngsters, in spreading this awareness. The launch, as I said, it's and the release of the best practices of human-elephant conflict management in India blends well with the theme of this World Elephant Day 2020, living with elephants. I think the with word is very, very important here. And the slogan, Hathi Hamara Sathi. So this World Elephant Day 2020, on this World Elephant Day, which is not today but on the 12th, we would all let us pledge to come together in protecting our national heritage animal for our future generations. So thank you so much once again, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of today's endeavor. And I hope that you are going to take this message forward. You are going to ensure that once the Suraksha portal is on, you would share it with people. Today's youngsters are very interested about wildlife. They are very passionate about, very compassionate with animals. And I hope that you are going to spread the word and therefore and make it important for all of us to understand this is a planet where coexistence is the most important thing. Thank you so much. सर ये 2 लाइन मुझे गाने के लिए बोल रहे हैं, उसमें नौकरी चली जाएगी. हाँ, वो टीवी में सिर्फ उतना ही दिखेगा, मैंने जो भी अच्छी बातें बोली वो दिखाया नहीं जाएगा, तो ये मेरे लिए बहुत खतरनाक हो जाता है. तो सर थैंक यू सो मच.
थैंक यू सर.
शुरू करता हूँ मैं. हाँ सर, समय नहीं. मेरे अजीज साथी बाबुल सुप्रियो, डीजी संजय कुमार, दासगुप्ता जी, प्रोजेक्ट एलिफेंट के सभी अधिकारी, अन्य अधिकारी और जो जुड़े हैं लाइव में, और ये दूरदर्शन पर भी लाइव है, बाकी जगह भी लाइव है, इसलिए मैंने सोचा कि यहाँ बैठकर आपसे बात करूं. गणेश की मूर्ति जब भी हम देखते हैं तो एक बुद्धिमान देवता की याद आती है. हाथी भी प्राणियों में बहुत बुद्धिमान प्राणी है. और मुझे अपने देश के संस्कृति का आश्चर्य होता है, गर्व होता है कि लोग प्राणियों को मारते नहीं और मारना अच्छा नहीं मानते और मारना नहीं चाहते। अभी मैंने देखा, सुना न्यूज, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में पानी की किल्लत के चलते हजारों ऊंटों को मारा गया। हमारे देश में ऐसा नहीं होता। एक दिन मैं कोल्हापुर जिले में गया था, तो वहां सारे किसान इकट्ठा हुए थे और वो बताने लगे एक के बाद एक कि हाथी आते हैं, खेत का नुकसान करते हैं, पूरा साफ करते हैं, तोड़ देते हैं, शिकायत कर। तो मैंने कहा इसका क्या करें? तो जंगल के अधिकारियों ने कहा कि उनको वापस जंगल में भेजने के वो क्या प्रयास करते हैं। लेकिन मैंने कहा इसका कोई मारते हैं क्या? तो किसानों ने कहा नहीं सर, मारना नहीं चाहिए। तो मैंने कहा फिर क्या करना चाहिए? तो उन्होंने कहा सर, अगर जंगल में पानी और खाद्य मिला तो वो बाहर क्यों आएंगे? और एक जो किसानों ने ये सूत्र समझाया, उसके आधार पर हमने फॉडर एंड वाटर ऑगमेंटेशन इन जंगल एरियाज, ये बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रम लिया है। और उस कार्यक्रम में अब इस बार लाइडर टेक्नोलॉजी का भी उपयोग कर रहे हैं, लाइडर सर्वे भी कर रहे हैं। और इस साल जो दिसंबर के बाद काम होगा, सर्वे के बाद, उसके सहारे अगले साल से जंगलों में पानी और जंगलों में घास और खाद्य बहुत अच्छे मात्रा में पैदा होगा, ये मुझे पूरा विश्वास है। तो ये देश प्राणियों पर प्रेम करता है, प्राणियों को अपना समझता है, प्राणियों की पूजा भी करता है, पेड़ों की पूजा करता है, प्रकृति को अपने साथ मानता है। और इसलिए हमने देखा दुनिया में भारत के पास दुनिया की केवल 2.5% जमीन है, केवल 4% बारिश है और जनसंख्या तो दुनिया की 16% भारत में है। 16% पशुओं की संख्या भी दुनिया की भारत में ही है। और दोनों को खाना भी लगता है, जमीन भी लगता है, पानी भी लगता है। फिर भी मैडम यहां बैठी है तो 8% बायोडाइवर्सिटी, हमारे देश में जीव विविधता दुनिया की यहां है। ये इस देश के लोगों ने जो प्रकृति को अपना माना, उसका उदाहरण है, उसका परिणाम है। और इसलिए ह्यूमन एनिमल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट न हो, उसके सीधे सीधे उपाय भी होते हैं। मैं काजीरंगा गया था। काजीरंगा में एक नियत स्थान से हाथी 1 या 2 बार दिन में क्रॉस करते हैं सड़क को। कभी कभी एक्सीडेंट होते थे, रात में खासकर। तो उसमें 2 उपाय थे। एक था जो अधिकारियों ने तुरंत एक प्लान बनाया कि सर एक 10 किलोमीटर का फ्लाईओवर लाएंगे, तो उसको 2000 करोड़ रुपए लगेंगे, कैसे कर सकते हैं? तो ऐसे उपाय मत बनाओ कि जो फिजिबल नहीं है। तो हमने दूसरे अधिकारियों ने चर्चा की, साइंटिस्ट भी थे, उन्होंने बताया कि अगर सिग्नलिंग करेंगे कि सेंसर से हाथी की मूवमेंट का पता करके अगर रोड पर वो जो रेलवे के सिग्नल जैसे मैन गेट पर पड़ते हैं वैसे सिग्नल पड़ेंगे तो बीच में से हाथी जाएंगे, बाकी यातायात रुकेगी। और वो हमने शुरू किया और सफल रहा। तो ये कर सकते हैं। एनिमल ह्यूमन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट टालने के भी ये अनेक उपाय हैं। लेकिन जो मनुष्यों की हानि होती है वो भी टालने के लिए प्रशिक्षण की भी जरूरत है, और वो ज्यादा रूप से हमारे लोग और फॉरेस्ट विभाग के लोग देंगे, क्योंकि आप फॉरेस्ट के बाहर न जाने के लिए कितनी भी उसको हर्डल्स तैयार करो आप हाथी को, अगर उसको जाना है तो वो जाएगा। एक बुद्धिमान प्राणी है, वो समझता है क्या ये है, बीच में जो खड़ा किया है वो क्या है, और उसको टाल देता है। तो इसलिए हाथी एक हमारा वैभव है। और देखो भारत कैसा है, दुनिया के 77% बाघ भारत में, और दुनिया के एशियन लाइफेंट्स, एशियन एलिफेंट्स में 60% भारत में। तो इतनी विविधता और इतने कंस्ट्रेंट्स के बावजूद भी जो है, मुझे लगता है दुनिया एलिफेंट डे, टाइगर डे ऐसे डे करती है। भारत में पूरा वर्ष ही एलिफेंट का है, पूरा वर्ष सृष्टि का होता है, पूरा वर्ष प्राणियों का होता है। मनुष्य और प्राणी एक साथ रहते हैं, इतने सालों से रहकर आए हैं, और उससे चराचर सृष्टि बहुत अच्छी रहती है। पता है आपको कि हाथी 150 किलो खाता है रोज। तो जब पत्ते वगैरह तोड़ता है तो गिरता भी है 150 किलो, कि जो वो नहीं खाता, वो दूसरे प्राणियों के लिए वो खाद्य होता है। और दूसरी चीज है कि वो खाता है, उसके विष्ठा से जो खाद मिलता है जमीन को, वो भी बेहद जमीन को फर्टाइल बनाने के लिए काम आता है। तो ये एक दूसरे की मदद से सृष्टि आगे चलती है। तो आज इस विश्व का एलिफेंट का लोग आज दिवस मनाते हैं, तो हमने भी सोचा कि इसका करें, और जिस तरह से पोर्टल और ये रिपोर्ट लाया है, बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस ऑफ ह्यूमन एलिफेंट कॉन्फ्लिक्ट मैनेजमेंट, ये मुझे लगता है बेहद महत्वपूर्ण है। क्योंकि केवल लोगों को पैसे देकर उनके क्रॉप के नुकसान का या उनके जान माल के नुकसान का केवल उपाय नहीं है। उपाय ज्यादा रोबस्ट ट्रेनिंग और जंगलों में ज्यादा पानी और घास और बांबू और बाकी सारे तैयार करना खाद्य, ये उसका उपाय है, और वो हम करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। इतना ही आज के दिन पर मैं कहूँगा। सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for stressing on the importance of habitat and further augmentation and water development and the use of technologies to manage elephants in our country. Now I request our Inspector General of Forest Project Elephant Division, Mr. Don Thomas, to kindly give a small token of memento to Mr. Soumitra Das Gupta, Additional Director General of Wildlife, to kindly deliver a memento to our Honorable Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Thank you, sir. I request Inspector General of Wildlife, Mr. Dr. Amit Malik, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Very good afternoon to all, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, respected Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Javadekar sir, Minister of State, Babul Supriyo sir, senior officials of the ministry, all who are watching this event through streaming. A very good afternoon to you all. First and foremost, Javadekar sir, we really would like to thank you today for inaugurating the function on World Elephant Day, and also for your words of wisdom which have been guiding us all through. We thank you very much for participating in today's program and inaugurating it. Babul Supriyo sir, Minister of State. Sir, you have always been a guiding force as far as wildlife matters are concerned.
So केंद्रीय वन एवं पर्यावरण मंत्री प्रकाश जावड़ेकर ने विश्व हाथी दिवस 2020 के सिलसिले में हाथी और मानव के बीच टकराव प्रबंधन पर एक पोर्टल लॉन्च किया, साथ ही एक सचित्र पुस्तिका भी जारी की है.
Yes, he released the document on best practices and launch of the portal on human-elephant conflict. And while addressing the gathering, the minister talked of how he feels a sense of pride that the animals in our country are worshipped, and the perception of people towards animals, protecting animals and safeguarding the interests of these animals, that is taking place across the country. He also mentioned about how signals were put on streets to ensure the safety of these animals, particularly elephants when they venture out of the forests. And also he talked of how the ministry is regularly making efforts to ensure safeguarding and protecting the elephants. We'll get you more on that in the bulletin that follows, but up next we'll take you live to the press conference which is being addressed by Union IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad on digital connectivity. We'll take you live there.
Fighting for the country, and therefore we have planned such digital satellite phone terminal at 1409 locations, out of which 200 locations have been installed, 183 have become operational.
और 763 की delivery भी हुई है, installation process.
And the rest 763 is in the process of being installed. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
सर, ये जो आप 354 गांव के अनकनेक्टेड विलेजेस की बात कर रहे थे, कह रहे थे कि इसका टेंडर भी जारी हो गया, तो कौन सी कंपनी सर जो इसका एग्जीक्यूट कर रही है, कितने करोड़ का है
ये टोटल है 337 करोड़ का. आप कंपनी में इंटरेस्टेड रहते हैं, हम काम में इंटरेस्टेड रहते हैं. ठीक है, तो हमें काम करने दीजिए. धन्यवाद. Yes, any other question?
मैं उसके बारे में नहीं पूछ रहा हूं, मैं ये पूछ रहा हूं.
Any of my